Hello again and welcome to Ndudu by Fafa.
Now this dish, I'll tell you something. You taste every ingredient that's in there. It's like infusion. It's so simple, cost effective, but equally delicious. Yeah, so now you can just imagine like chunks of eggs that you're biting into, that texture, that flavor, all natural flavors of course. And what am I talking about? The Ndudu ultimate egg stew, like you've never seen before. You know what I mean? Anyway, let's start.
Now to make this beautiful textured and aromatic egg stew, I'm going to boil 4 eggs. Now this recipe would serve about 6 people depending on how hungry they are. Now I'm going to bring this to the boil. Of course, I'm going to add my salt to taste. And immediately it starts boiling, I'm going to turn the heat off and I'll leave it in hot water for about 2 minutes. Then I transfer it into ice cold water and then peel the skin off. I'll be cooking this further later, so that's why I don't want to overcook my eggs because it's important that the yolk in there is nice and soft. Anyway, moving on. I'll be using some plum baby tomatoes, some red peppers, habanero chili, some garlic, ginger, and I use both the red and white onions. Then again, you can use whatever onions that are readily available to you. Now to my saucepan, I've added some groundnut oil. Yes, that's what I need for this recipe today. And I'm going to be frying my onions for about 3 to 5 minutes to allow that infusion to take place. Bearing in mind that this stew is going to be packed with flavors. So, of course, I'm always advocating cooking at the right temperature and just cooking it so. So, at this point, I think that in about 3 to 4 minutes, you'd find that your mixture is frying just nicely. To that, I'm going to be adding my green chilies because they are going to infuse their own flavors into the dish. So after allowing this to fry for about 3 minutes, I'm now going to add my tomato puree or tomato paste, may I say. And I am going to fry this beautiful mixture for another 3 to 5 minutes, yet again on that medium heat. What I love about this is seeing that infusion of that tomato paste into my mixture, and it gives it that deep orange color, and you can see that the flavors are intensifying at this stage. So yeah, at this point I'm going to be adding my rosemary for that aromatic flavor because I'm building upon each flavor as I go along. You see, once you use the best of ingredients and you build upon the flavor, you cook at the right temperature, you'd always end up with a flavor-packed dish. That's always a given. So now that my tomato puree mixture looks good, it has got that marmalade look about it, and you can see the flavors are intensifying as they go along. So I have blended my tomatoes, garlic, yes, ginger, chili, and red peppers together. Now, I prefer to use plum tomatoes because they do have less water content, and that cuts your cooking time in half. However, I'm going to rinse my blender and add no more than 100 milliliters of water to this because I need to rinse the blender. There is no waste in my kitchen, as I always say. Now, this mixture looks incredible. And still maintaining that medium to low heat, I'm going to allow this to cook in its own flavor for at least 16 minutes. Now, each 4 minutes, I'm going to come in, I'm going to stir it just to make sure that it doesn't catch the bottom of the pan. But then again, if you're cooking on a very low heat, that shouldn't happen.
Now, of course, if this is your first time to tune in into this channel, you're welcome. Thank you very much for watching. And if you would like to see more videos like this, don't forget to click the subscribe button and the notification button.
So after 16 minutes, you end up with this beautiful consistency. There's still moisture in the stew, so I'm adding some carrots, and you notice that they're quite chunky in the way I've sliced them. And these are organic carrots. They make a big difference. They're packed with flavors, and the fact that they are sweeter as well, so they really work well with the stew. So if you can get your organic one, it's a lot better. And yes, I'm mixing everything together. Yeah, again, I'm going to cook this on that low heat for about 5 minutes. Now, I don't want to overcook the carrots. I want to have that little crunch as well. So this sort of helps in terms of, budgeting, because that gives that texture for one to, enjoy. So you're not using any meat, but you're using eggs. So to have that carrot to bite into, and when it's chunky and al dente, it's perfect. So now I'm going to be adding some spices, and I'm going to infuse this beauty just when the stew's almost done. So I'm grating some fresh nutmeg for that aromatic flavor, but also for that sweetness as well. At this point, your onions would have softened and slightly melted. Your green chilies would have done the same. But this is where we're building upon the flavors, because the tomato has cooked gently for at least about 20 minutes at this point. And then you've added your carrots as well, which have also absorbed all the flavors of that stew. You see? Now I'm going to be adding my salt to taste. At least I didn't forget to film that. That's always been the pain. But yes, I'm adding my salt to taste, not more than half a teaspoonful. Now, it's best to actually salt your dish when your dish is almost done, rather than at the beginning, just to avoid any salty dishes, because you might end up adding too much salt. So anyway, at this point, I'm going to be adding my milled white peppercorns. Now, that just gives it this beautiful sort of aromatic spiciness, and it just works with the stew in particular. Yeah, definitely. If in absence of that, you can use your normal black peppercorn, but the white peppercorn for this stew makes a big difference. You can see it. You can just see how the flavors have infused, and you can see everything is just bubbling just so nicely. So now I'm adding my eggs. Yes, my boiled eggs, the 4 boiled eggs. Yeah. And I'm just mixing this. Now, what's going to happen is the stew is going to infuse into the eggs as well. At this point, I'm adding my onions. You know this. If you've been watching this channel, you know me in textures and flavors. We're first cousins. I know, right? So I'm adding my onions that are quite chunky, and I need them al dente as well. So you've got that texture as well from the carrots, which are al dente. And then you're going to be getting this refreshing flavor from the onions that would also have that crunch. So this is a marriage made in my heaven. It's like it did job well. So at this point, I'm cooking on a very low heat, because I'm going to be adding 6 cracked eggs to this. Yes, look at that. This one, dear. Now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to carefully stir this, because I don't want to crack the yolks. I want this to be chunky, because they're going to act like meat, because in the absence of a meat, you need that texture, you need that chunkiness, something that one can bite into. So one is going to be biting into the carrots, that's al dente, biting into the beautiful onion, that's perfect, and then they've got this huge bowl of egg coming at them. I want to say yes, they are eating egg stew. It be proper, this would be correct egg stew, you know what I mean? Maintaining that low heat, I'm just going to cover this. I'm going to cook this for 5 minutes to allow the steam to cook everything just so. So you can see that the eggs have actually just formed perfectly. Look at that. Look at that chunk coming at you. Look at it. Exactly. Now you're telling me you're not going to crack that and bite into that. And look at the onions. They've held their shape. You can see that the infusion's definitely taking place. But you would think that I'm done, wouldn't you? Now this is where the ultimate flavor comes in. So you see in Ghana, you will have this 1 mouth thousand. Yes. Now they're fried little fishes that are fried in coconut oil, and they add this extra flavor to the stew. This is a must try, seriously. Now, in the absence of that, I have to think about what you can use. I'm sure you can actually just fry your normal fish, like a wild sea bass and everything, in that coconut oil and add that to it. But this makes a big difference, because I'm going to cook this for another 2 minutes, and it melts. The flavor just melts into this. It just works so perfectly to finish the dish with this. And I've added about 2 tablespoonfuls worth of it. Now I'm adding my green chilies because, of course, I'm reviving the flavor, and it gives it that color, and it gives it that residual heat as well. And it's just nice to see that. And now my spring onions. These are onion flowers, but of course you can use your spring onions. It's not a problem. Now for that added flavor, I know I'm building up on the flavors because this is done now. So I'm going to be adding my basil. You can use the Guinean basil as well, which is the kokomesa or koklugba, yes. And that just finishes any egg or chicken stew just so. See, and I'm going to mix this, and I'm going to turn the heat off, and my food is ready.
So now that I've made that ultimate egg stew, talking about textures, flavors, natural flavors, of course, I'm going to serve it with my boiled plantain. Oh, this is like a nostalgic dish, absolutely. But of course, with that Ndudu twist, as always. I'm just going to peel 1 plantain, and that is more than enough for me. It's quite easy to peel, as you can see, just here, use my thumb. Open it up, and then it just peels nicely and perfectly. There we go. And to that, I'm just going to slice it. You can be as creative in terms of how you want it. I like it in that sort of like a slanted form. Yeah, that's beautiful and nice. And I think just 1 plantain is more than enough for me. So I've just got my water that is boiling, and I'm just going to add my plantain to it. And of course, salt to taste. Easy as 1, 2, 3. Okay. And now, that looks perfect. Okay. Then I'll give you a closer view, and I can actually strain this, and yeah, we're into business.
Now please do take all necessary precautions when you're dealing with anything hot. Best to use a strainer to strain the hot water off the plantain. I've done this since I was quite young, so I'm used to this, but please be cautious when dealing with anything hot.
Get this on my Instagram stories, as I always do. And this is going to be so exciting. Now I'm just going to get people to celebrate on what's about to happen.
You can enjoy this dish with any carbohydrates of your choosing, particularly with rice, couscous, be creative, think outside the box.
Where they say chop time no friend, this is like one of those moments.
I hope you're inspired to try the recipe, and I have given you a reason to click the subscribe button if you haven't done so yet. Yet again, a big thank you to my notification gang for all the love and the support and your comments. I appreciate it. The constructive criticisms definitely do help this channel, and I appreciate each and every one of you. As usual, I'll be leaving the list of ingredients and measurements on my blog in ndudubyfafa.blogspot.com, so do check it out. I'm also on Facebook, Instagram, and Snapchat as Ndudu by Fafa. Do pass by and say hi. Until next time, take care of you. Be nice, be beautiful, be gorgeous, and be kind. Yes, me love you loads.